So today, we're playing the Pyromancer. We got an awesome combo featuring the Darksaber and the Prismatic Sword. We'll be stacking tons of debuffs on our opponents while we are enjoying debuff immunity. Well, kinda, thanks to a few key items. But hey, check this run out and let me know what you think of this build. Okie dokie, let's go and jump some rank games with the Pyromancer and see just what we can do today. So we're starting off with a Fire Pit, Chipped Amethyst and a Lump of Coal. So a fantastic start. We definitely want to craft up a torch. We're going to grab the broom. Let's go ahead and grab a dagger also. Now let's go ahead and roll. Piggy bank is kind of awesome, not going to lie, because we could get that piggy pagnazza. However, I think for this round, I'm actually going to craft up a shovel. We have a ton of weapons, no stamina. It's not going to be too great. And we are going to move on. We are going to see what we can do with this. It's a lot of weapons, so our stamina is going to be non-existent whatsoever. Especially going up against a berserker. But once we craft these up, we should be in a pretty good spot. And unfortunately, it's exactly what I expected. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But we should be in a pretty good spot with our torch. Craft you up. Let's go ahead and grab an extra flame. Let's go ahead and grab this chili pepper. Let's go ahead and grab this burning coal. And we should be in a much better spot with a shovel, with a torch, with that dagger. We probably should have actually took our amethyst out, but it is what it is. Our opponent does have a mana orb with a broom. They are going to go for a magic staff, but yeah, awesome. Pretty good for us. Just pausing the video here very quickly, just to ask you to subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks. Now let's get back to the video. Not going to lie. Now we are going to craft up that molten dagger. We did get that pocket sand. We're also going to grab this leather bag. Let's go ahead and grab an extra garlic. Let's roll once more. And I'm going to switch our setup to be more like this for right now. I'm going to reserve the banana and let's go ahead and move on and see what we can do. But right now, having in one pocket sand is quite nice because it does decrease our opponent's accuracy. And it just means that our shovel doesn't actually have to inflict as much blight. Because our opponent actually can't hit us, they can't get that lifesteal from that red ruby. And if they can't hit us, they're not going to be dealing damage. So overall, it should be awesome. However, we do have a choice to make right now, and I'm thinking strongly about taking smithing for dummies, even though we do have ever burning and shielded. Now shielded could be kind of awesome if we do go for a bunch of sun shields and sun armors. And if you do get Solaris, that would be fantastic. Shielded with Solaris is fantastic. Now smithing for dummies is insanely good for us right now. So I think we're going to have to take that, unfortunately. Now it does give us a whetstone, which I don't exactly want. However, we're going to grab this goobert for now. Let's go and buy this flame. I'm actually going to sell our whetstone, and I do want to grab the banana. And I do want to roll once more. Now we do desperately need this storage. We are going to craft up a chili gooberts. And we are going to rock on with this for now. Now chili goobert in, we should be in a pretty good spot. Because we should be able to stack up a lot of heats. Scaling damage for our molten dagger. And also just increasing our weapons. Now with this smithing for dummies, it's going to be awesome for a weapon situation. And it's looking pretty good. Smashing even. And chili goobert is going to be awesome for solves. So let's go ahead and grab a leather bag. Let's go ahead and add this in and add in our big old banana for now. I'm thinking we actually reserve this crop to crystal because we could potentially end up going for a Darksaber builds. But for now, let's go ahead and grab this unstable recombobulator. Let's go ahead and just recombobulate itself. It also does give us a random buff every 4 seconds, which is kind of nice. Now, I kind of wish we didn't actually have to let this go, but when we do put it in your inventory, it is going to go in the next round. And so far, this is looking pretty good overall. So right now, we're going to get some crazy item. Another burning torch. And a set of blueberries. Now, we could go double torch with smithing for dummies instead of that shovel. Which I'm going to sell the shovel then. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab the fanny pack for now. I do actually want to grab a custom card and do want to roll once. Now, Draconic Orb is going to be kind of nice since we're rocking chili gooberts. We do want to stack up as much. We're going to be stacking up as much heat as possible. I'm going to switch this over to this side so we can actually increase the speed of our blueberries. Along with our garlic, we're going to add you in. Let's go ahead and craft up another burning coal. And with that, we are definitely going to move on. Now, 2 burning torches is going to be kind of awesome. It is going to eat up a lot more of our stamina with our smithing for dummies in. It should be pretty good because both of these, I do have a chance to scale up that damage also. And so far, this is looking pretty darn good. Let's go ahead and grab a Draconic Orb. We're going to sell one flame so we can actually grab this fanny pack also. I'm actually going to flip this so we can situate this a little bit better for ourselves. Just so we can have more flames in our fire pit and just get a ton more max HP. And we are going to move on. Once again, this should be pretty decent. We could have taken a fancy fencing rapier, but I do kind of want to move on with this situation. And we may actually want to get rid of a molten dagger because it is going to make us a little bit harder to stack up that heat. Once we get that heat stacked up, we should be able to deal big damage and smashing. And we do have to make a choice, and I'm thinking about going ASHBRINGER here. ASHBRINGER, since we already have a dark crystal, and since we have our customer card, we could go for some Darksabers. Let's go ahead and grab it for now, and that is literally a skull badge, which I'm going to have to take because we're going to be inflicting a lot of debuffs for ourselves on our opponents, which should be fantastic. Let's grab it for now. Let's sell this garlic troll once, and that is a toad if you do want it, but I'm not going to take it. Now, skull badge is not a dark item, it just gives some Reaper items, but honestly, a lot of the Reaper items are actually dark, such as the dark side, such as the dead side, such as staff on healing, demonic flask. So we should be able to inflict a lot of debuffs as we scale up our damage. We should get a little bit of vulnerability. And this should be looking pretty good. And overall, not too bad. We're dealing a lot of damage. Our opponent is also running the Dark Lantern, but they do have a fancy rapier. Now they did make us resurrect first, but we have a lot of debuffs on him. And smashing. We do get better use of a Dark Lantern. You do actually want to grab a mana orb. I'm going to sell this one flamethrower once. And I'm going to move on. Now we could take the heroic potion, but I'm still not going to take it for right now. I'm just going to move on with what we have. Now we could have went for our own Excalibur taking that heroic potion. So this could be kind of scary because they're going to be stacking up a lot of max life with that cheese. But as long as we stack up a lot of debuffs, such as blind and frost and poison, we should be in a pretty good spot. But opponent does have that battle rage, and unfortunately, Excalibur is just going to be too much for us right now, unfortunately. And we do have a choice to make. Now, Solaris is going to be kind of nice. It does cleanse a lot of debuffs, which is going to be pretty good for us, and it does make us want to get some sun armors for defensive options. I think we're going to take this for right now. Now, we could take hardwood. Don't exactly want to either, though. Super spacious. We do need some bag space. Let's go and take Solaris. Now, that is a demonic flask, which is a dark item. It is a lot of gold for a dark item. But I think we're actually still going to take it now. I do not want to craft it up. I do want to keep our dark crystal. That's also prismatic orb, which is going to be a dark item. Let's roll once more. And I'm going to want to stamina sack. But we are going to move on, and now with 2 dark items, we should be in a pretty good spot. Also, when this procs, when our points drop below 50% HP, it is going to deal a lot of damage to our opponents because we're going to stack up a lot of debuffs. And we should be able to resurrect and inflict those debuffs before our opponents actually drops below 50% HP. However, actually, no, it didn't actually happen. But still, not too bad. I'm going to grab a stamina sack, which means we can't grab our prismatic orb. Now we could honestly, we could straight up go for prismatic sword and be inflicting a lot of dark debuffs. Which means we're going to have to sell you. We're going to have to sell you too, which means we can grab this for now, which should be fantastic for ourselves. Now the problem is we do need this wooden sword, and I'm not willing to sell our customer card because that is going to help us find our prismatic swords. So it does mean we're going to have to sell our little pocket stand, unfortunately, and 2 flames. With this, we should be in a fantastic spot. I'm going to move our skull badge into this position. Let's go ahead and add in more flames to our fire pit. And this should be awesome. Now we are going to move on, and we should be in a pretty darn good spot. We should be able to inflict a lot of debuffs. Our opponent is going to be removing them though. Unfortunately, we did come across a card, Gooberts, but they're running those rat chefs too. They're going to be stacking up a lot of power. They're going to have a lot of stamina. They're going to be getting rid of a lot of our debuffs. So unfortunately, there's not too much we can do about that. And also we're running a wooden sword, which is not super ideal. Now at this point, we're actually going to sell a burning torch as well, because we're going to take a lightsaber and we're going to craft up a dark saber on top of it. I'm going to sell this red ruby. I'm going to sell 1 more flame so we can actually grab this bit of storage. And I'll be back in a second while I sort our inventory out. And we are going to move on with this setup. We do have a dark lantern in this position, which should be awesome. We should have 3 dark items, to inflict a lot of debuffs, we do have a Prismatic Sword, which is going to have a decent chance to inflict some debuffs. And once we craft up our Darksaber, we should be in a much better spot, because we should be able to inflict a lot more debuffs. And with our Smithing for Dummies in, we should be able to use up a lot less stamina with our craft weapons. We are going to move on. We do also have our Skull Badge in with our Chili Goober, so we should be able to stack up a lot of heats. And this should be pretty good. Now we do actually want to get some Sun Armors in, so we can actually make use of that heat for a ton of healing. But our opponent is going to deal a lot of damage with that Staff Fire, and we could be in lots of trouble. It's going to be super close, and just barely surviving. But we do have the Darksaber now. And unfortunately, we do need to move it into this position. Now, this is not a holy item anymore, so we don't get that scaling damage on a Prismatic Sword. And we're back to having literally the same amounts of dark items on it, which is not super great. Now, we do actually want to add this in. Now, I'm going to grab the Toad since it is on sale. I'm going to roll once, and we could have our Toad in this position, because it's going to be a magic item. Not exactly what I want. But let's roll, and there we go. That's exactly what I want to grab. That is literally going to be awesome, because with our Solaris in, it is going to be fantastic. That's for sure. Now, I am contemplating this Divine Potion. I will actually grab it. It's going to help with our Solaris. Basically, we should be able to get rid of a lot of debuffs. It's also going to give us scaling damage on our Prismatic Sword, which should be fantastic for ourselves. I'm also going to place our Toad in this position with our Chili Goobers. And it is going to be this for now. And we'll see. Now, we could honestly take a Glowing Crown too, but I'm going to leave for now. Just want that Sun Armor for Solaris. Now, we should be able to inflict a lot of debuffs with our Darksaber in. It's a crafted weapon, so it shouldn't take up as much stamina, and we should be able to inflict a lot of debuffs. A lot of blinds, and smashing. Overall, fantastic. As for damage though, we do have a 40 DPS, which is pretty darn good. Definitely could be better. As for heals, 15 healing per second is not insane by any means, and very little block. But our main source of defense are these debuffs, which makes our opponent barely able to hit us, and also slow it down by quite a bit. So I do believe we can actually make this a lot better, especially since we're about to get our Sun Armor. Now, unfortunately, we do have to lose up a lot of flames, which is not super ideal, but we'll have to do. Until we get our Sun Armor, it is what it is. Now, I am going to roll on. Let's keep it going. We could craft up a Dark Armor too, but with Solaris in, that Sun Armor is going to be fantastic for us. However, this opponent is looking quite scary with all their weapons, with that Smithing for Dummies. They're actually making fantastic use of it. But again, that's a lot of damage coming from our Darksaber. Now with Sun Armor in, with Solaris, this is going to give us a block as well as heals, which is going to be fantastic. We also do want to grab this, and then this is looking pretty good for us. Now we also have a Burning Coals in our armor, so it gives us even more block, and it does resist a lot of frost. So basically, with our Solaris, Divine Potions, and our Burning Coals, we should be pretty much debuff immune. I'm going to continue to roll. We could have taken that Dark Crystal, but it is what it is. Let's keep it going. And Warbringer. I might actually take Warbringer so we can actually get a little bit of stamina for ourselves. And should we take this to Pestilence Flask? I will take it since it's on sale. We'll use it for this round. And we probably could sell it in the next round. But I really want some Prismatic Orbs. That's for sure. However, our opponent is going to be a lot of debuff resistance as well with their whole setup. Basically from their Dragon Claws, their Dragon Skin Boots. And they're also going to be stealing our buffs with Tim. So unfortunately, this is not looking super great. They're also scaling up their accuracy. So unfortunately, our opponent did counter us quite significantly. They had accuracy stacking from their Eye Lamp along with their Brass Knuckles, unfortunately. They're also stealing all our buffs with Tim. And debuff resistances with Dragon Claws, Dragon Skin Boots. Now, not a whole lot, but still just too much for us right now. Now, we could take another Lightsaber, which would be fantastic for ourselves. But let's go ahead and grab our Warbringer. Let's grab an extra flame. Let's roll once. There's a Prismatic Orb, which we desperately want. At this point, we're going to sell this little potion flask. So we'll grab this stamina sack. Now, I know a Warbringer would be fantastic over beside our Chili Goobert and our Toad, but I'm going to continue on like this for now anyways. Now, should we actually craft up a second Sun Armor? Unfortunately, I just think we take our Prismatic Orb and we just continue on for right now. Our opponent is rocking a bunch of dragons, which is going to deal quite a bit of damage to us. So we could be in lots of trouble. Once we hit our invulnerability, that is a lot of debuffs stacked up. Our Darksaber should be dealing massive damage. Our opponent is going to resurrect with that Phoenix. They do get that big burst heal as well. But overall, smashing. This is looking pretty darn good. Now let's go ahead and take a Prismatic Orb. We could also take a Glowing Crown for even more scaling damage on a Prismatic Sword. But I am going to roll once. Now we could take another Demonic Flask. But unfortunately for this run, I'm going to have to sell all this so we can actually take this for right now. Because we do actually need to move this down. We're going to flip this into this position. Which does mean we do have a little bit more scaling. It is going to attack a little bit faster. We should have as much debuffs as we can inflict with a Dark Lantern. And we should be able to inflict quite a few debuffs at the very beginning with this Prismatic Orb. Well, it's only 4, which is not crazy. But it still should be pretty decent all the same. But let's go ahead and move on for right now. And we'll see. Is this going to be good enough? Our opponent is going to be stealing our buffs with those Squirrel Archers. As long as our opponent can stack up a lot of luck. As we inflict that blinds. Well, actually they're running Card Goobers, so they're going to actually be reducing a lot of our debuffs. Once we do resurrect, that is a crazy amount of debuffs. But still, it's not going to matter too much. Unfortunately, Card Goobers and Squirrels are going to be a big counter to this. Now, I'm going to take Demonic Flask. We could take a Mana Orb, but not going to take it for right now. Let's keep it rolling. That is one final sword. Do we actually want one final sword? I don't think we do. I think we roll. We keep rolling. That is a Corrupt Crystal, which I would like to take. So I think we're going to sell our Potion Bolts. We don't exactly need it anymore. We're going to sell our customer card. And I do actually want to slot this into our armor for right now. We're slotting that into our armor. We're going to be inflicting a lot of debuffs. It means we should get a ton of armor from it, which should be awesome. Now, we did take our Mana Orb out, so our Prismatic Sword doesn't actually attack as fast. But it does mean we should be able to have a higher chance to inflict some debuffs. Now, our potions would be much better in this position. But I'm still going to continue on like this right now. Now, our potions not stacked on top of each other definitely feels a bit off. Not gonna lie. But to make the best use we can from a Prismatic Sword, it's gonna have to be this way for right now. But this is it. This is gonna be a final setup. Prismatic Sword, Dark Lantern, Darksaber with Solaris. Basically being debuff immune with Solaris Divine Potion. And also removing those debuffs with Sun Armor. This should be fantastic. Skull Badge definitely been a big contributor to our whole setup right now. And we're going to see, is this going to be good enough? Are we going to fall short? Can we out survive opponents? And we are going to begin a Busted Blade with a lot of debuff resistances. That Busted Blade with the Anvil is going to be dealing quite a bit of damage. So we'll see. They don't have crit chance, which is going to be pretty good for us, but they do have extra Angie, which is going to give them battle rage once again. Which is going to give us a ton of block. And we do resurrect, but they are scaling up their accuracy with those eye lamps. But that's a lot of blind on our opponents, and their accuracy is going to be super low. And so far, this is looking pretty darn good for us, and awesome. But hey, this turned out to be extremely awesome. Now, our DPS was not super insane or anything like that. Especially those Demonic Flasks. They did very little, to be quite honest. But yeah, our damage was not super great because our opponent did have a lot of damage reduction with 2 Dragon Scale Armors. So our DPS, it turned out to be about 40 DPS, which is not too bad all in all. Now, our heals, honestly, we literally had 0 since our opponent ran Cap Discomforts with those Amethysts. So honestly, stacking up these debuffs was a big contributor to our defenses. As for block though, we still managed to get quite a bit of block, thanks to Solaris, and that Sun Armor, and that Corrupted Crystal, which did provide a lot of block for us. Now our opponent did cleanse a lot of debuffs, but we still managed to get quite a few off, especially with a Prismatic Sword, Darksaber, and our Dark Lantern. But this build definitely came out to quite fun. Now we definitely were debuff immune, but unfortunately we didn't actually face any big debuff stacking builds. So we definitely went overkill on it. But anyways, we did survive with 2 lives left. Let's go and see just how much rank points we did get. Plus 11 and ranks up quite a bit. But anyways, I'm going to leave it here for now. Just want to say thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope to see you look up for the next one. See you next time.